applications, we are supposed to discuss about some terminologies of ecology. When we go further in the studies in the different aspects of ecology, we come across the definitions of word. So instead of explaining there each and there, we will be discussing one by one here, so that these all terminologies will be coming for you in multiple choice question, or it will be easy for you for categorizing it into groups and studying. Okay, in this regard, the first one is the first and the foremost term. When we talk about ecology, all the terms I am lining up here. Species. What are species? Species are nothing but uniform interbreeding populations. Spread over space and time. So species is nothing but, what is species? Myself is a species, animal species, plant species, right? So uniform interbreeding population spread over space and time is called as species. Now what is next term we are having is population. Now what is population? Human beings are one population, male population, female population, right? So it is nothing but a group of interbreeding individuals in an area. A group of interbreeding individuals, a group of interbreeding individuals in an area is called as population. Next one is you are having is ecotype. Now what is ecotype? Now ecotype is a group of individuals of species which are genetically adopted to that particular environment. So a group of individuals, a population of individual of a species which is genetically adopted to that environment. A group of individual of species, a group individuals of species which are adopted genetically to that environment is called as ecotype. Fourth one is ecad. Now these are a group of individuals or species which are adopted to the environment having same genetic makeup, but morphologically they are having different characters. So there is a basic difference here. Ecotype and ecad. Ecotype are a group of individuals of species which are adopting genetically to the environment, and ecad are the type of species which are having the same genetic makeup, but the only difference is having different morphological characters in response to that particular environment. So this is the difference between ecad and ecotype. Next is community. What is community? Now what is community? A combination of species and population can be community. So what is community? An assemblage of different groups of organisms together in a particular area and sharing the same climatic condition or same environmental conditions, then that is called as community. We are a community. Plant community, animal community means a group or assemblage of all the populations put together occurring in an area and more or less having the same environmental conditions or accepting the same environmental conditions, then that is called as community. Okay. Next one is sixth one, vegetation. All we know what is vegetation here. Vegetation is the assemblage of plant growth in the same climate. Assemblage of plants growing under same conditions or same climate over a wide range area. Okay, the plants, a group of plants growing under the same climatic conditions which range communities are called as vegetation. So the units are called as vegetative units. Next one is flora. What is flora? All we know. The species concept, the species content in species content of the region irrespective of the numerical changes. Irrespective of numerical strength of species. This is very important. Okay, species content of the particular region irrespective of all the numerical strength of each species, and that may be flora. As we said, it is related, flora means plants. So a group of plant species irrespective of the numerical strength, maybe you have 4 lilies, 4 roses, 5 orchids, all that irrespective of their numerical strength, the group of all the floral plant species which are present in a particular area is called as flora. Next one is ecosystem. Now what is ecosystem? As I said, it is a segment of nature consisting of both the abiotic components and the biotic components of that particular organism. Means it is an interaction between organism and its physical environment. It's an interaction or a collaboration, we can say, a union between, we are talking in terms of organism and its physical environment. So in this regard, each organism will have both abiotic and biotic components. So how a particular organism is interdependent or interacting with both the both interacting and exchanging material between them. So a parallel form of so this interaction and exchange of material between organism and physical environment is called as ecosystem. So now here there is one more term called as biogeosynosis. This is the word which is a parallel term used for biogeosynosis, is a parallel term used for ecosystem. So life and earth is equal, it means life and earth. We are talking about life and earth. So instead of using ecosystem, the parallel term or alternative term which we can use is called as geosynosis. So this was given in the German literature. This word is used by German literature. German people, they instead of using ecosystem, they use the word called as biogeosynosis. Okay, it is nothing but an interaction or exchange of material between the organism and the physical environment. Now what is ninth one? Biosphere. Now what is biosphere? The biologically inhabited area on the earth is called as biosphere. We can consider as earth as a biosphere or ecosphere where the life exists, then that is expressed, then that is called as, world is called as one big biosphere. Next one is 10th one, that is called as biome. As we already discussed biome earlier, what is biome? The complex of several communities growing in particular area and sharing common climate. Okay, what is biome? It is nothing but a group of several communities growing in a particular area and sharing the same climate is called as the biome. Next one is biomass. Now, okay, the amount of living material present at different levels of food chain, and what is it is measured in terms of gram per unit area. So the amount of living material at different food levels or at different trophic levels by an organism is called as the biomass. Next one is factors. Okay, what are factors? Factors are the criteria or conditions, it may be either external or internal factors which affect the organism, in its growth is called as factors, that you know. Next term we are supposed to use is environment. So what is environment here? The sum of all the factors that constitute constitute are called as environment. Next one we are having is that is called as habitat. As we all know, what is habitat? Habitat is the place or area where the organism exists. The area where the organism lives is called as habitat. Next one is you are having ecotone. These two are very similar to you. familiar words. Environment is all the components, sum of all the factors constitute together gives environment. Habitat is the area or the place where the particular organism lives is called as habitat. Is it a mesophytic, xerophytic, all that. Next, you are having a term called as ecotone. This is new term, this is important. Ecotone is nothing but a sharp line of demarcation between two different types of communities. Means there is a sharp line of demarcation between two different types of communities, then that is called as ecotone. And next one, 16th one is called as succession. Now, what is succession? This is a biological natural process in which group of different communities or groups come together and colonize together in same area over a period of time, and you will see a definite sequence of growth is seen here. That is called as succession. Now, what is a stage called as climax stage? Now, in succession, the last final stage where the final community of plant succession occurs is called as climax stage. So, succession has different layers, right? So, the final stage of plant succession, that can maintain the equilibrium between the plant and the environment, that stage is called as climax stage. Now, next one is monoclimax. Now, monoclimax theory. Now, in this time, there is only one type of climax community or plant community exists, and this is controlled by the environmental factors. Then that is, as there is only one climax community, then that is called as monoclimax. And if it is more than one, now if it is more than one type of climax community, then that is called as polyclimax theory, and these are the group of communities growing together in a particular area and sharing a common climate. So there are three terms from climax. First is climax, a group of animals or group of organisms or communities are colonizing together in the same place and over a period of time sharing the same climate and show a sequence. Okay. Next, in this, the first stage of according to this time there is only one climax community existing and it is having a good relationship with the environment, then that is called monoclimax theory. If it is having more than one climax community which is growing in the different groups are growing in the same area, sharing the same climatic condition over a period of time, then that is called as polyclimax theory. Now, next is standing state. Now, this is nothing but standing state is the amount of inorganic substances given or present at a given time in a particular environment. The amount of inorganic substances present at a given time in the environment of the ecosystem. So, what are the inorganic substances here? Phosphorus, sulfur, carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, all these. All these inorganic substances which are present in a given time in the particular environment of an ecosystem, then that state is called as standing state. Okay. Next one is standing crop. As we already used one more word called as biomass, right? The term called as standing crop. So, it is nothing but standing crop is otherwise known as biomass. What is biomass? We said the amount of living material. Okay, the amount of living material which is present in the component population at any time, means at any time it is a component of the population where we can take into consideration the amount of living material which exists, then that is called as standing crop. For example, there are 4 acres of land or in which wheat crop is grown, right? So, at any time, any season of growth of plant, how much amount of living material is present, that is called as standing crop. Next one is ecological pyramids. Ecological pyramids. Ecological pyramids are nothing but the graphical representation of each trophic level of a food chain. For example, we will talk in detail later. Each food chain has different trophic levels. So, here it is showing the structure and functioning of each successive trophic level, how these are autotrophs, these are herbivores, these are carnivores. So this, what amount of autotrophs are present at the base, at the herbivorous level and at the top level. So the graphical presentation of the structure and functioning of each trophic level, each level of food chain is called as ecological pyramid. Now next one is food chain. This is very important, these terms. Food chain. Okay, food and chain. What is happening here? Food is there and chain is there. So here we can say that a series of organisms through which food is being flown in an ecosystem. Food energy flows in an ecosystem, means from one level to the another level and from another level to third level. So a series of organisms, the food through which the food energy level flows from one form to the other form in an ecosystem is called, it is occurring in the form of chain. So that's why it is called as food chain. Now 24th one is food web. Now what is food web? The interlocking pattern of all the food chains together is called as food web. These are important. Like what is food web is the interlocking pattern of all the food chains together is called as food web. I explain it. Food and a web. Web is formed. Web is what? A group of net-like fashion is called as web. So food chain of grazing, food chain, parasitic food chain, right? So the different types of food chain 1, food chain 2, food chain 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Suppose these all are food chain. These are interlocked and connected and ultimately give the pattern of a web. So all group of a bunch of food chains interlocked together and forming a pattern, and that is called as food web. Now productivity. Next one is productivity. The amount of organic matter accumulated in the living components of the ecosystem. The amount of organic matter accumulated in the individual component of an ecosystem is called as productivity, and it is referred in unit time, and it is also referred as the productivity of an ecosystem. So the amount of organic matter accumulated in the living component of the of each ecosystem is called as productivity. It is also called as productivity of an ecosystem. Here you have primary productivity, secondary productivity and tertiary productivity depending upon the level of productivities it is giving. Next one is 26th is echesis. This is also important. This is rarely seen word. What is echesis is the process in which the migrated organism are establishing themselves into the new environment. Means the animals which are coming from different places will come and stay in this environment, and they try to adopt themselves, adjust themselves to this environment. So the adaptation of migrated organism to the present environment is called as echesis. Okay. Next, you know, pollution. What is pollution? Pollution is nothing but an undesirable change in the atmosphere, in the physical and chemical and biological characteristics of any undesirable change in all the physical, biological characteristics of air, land, water is called as pollution. Next, what is smog? What is smog? A fog which is becoming more darker and thicker because of the dust and the smoke, then that is called as smog. Fog is different, smog is different. The smog is the much thicker and darker form of fog which is become much darker and thicker because of lot of dust and lot of smoke in it. So that is called as fog. Smog. The fog is different and the smog is different. Next is one more is last 29 is greenhouse effect. What is greenhouse effect? The warming of the earth's surface by increased carbon dioxide concentration is called as greenhouse effect. The warming of the earth's surface by the increased carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere is called as greenhouse effect. Okay, we have so these are the terms of different terms of ecology which we come across ecology when we are going further in the detail of different aspects of ecology.